So good morning, guys. Yeah, thank you for the intro. I think that we've got a long way to go, but so I'm here to talk about today on the rise of the on-demand economy, and I think some of you guys might know it as the sharing economy instead, and also how this relates to the logistics industry, because everyone knows the Ubers and the Grabs, but you hear all of this like new talk about the sharing economy for the Uber for logistics, the Uber for hotels, etc. I'm here to talk today about specifically the sharing economy for logistics. So before I get into that, of course, I need to introduce myself and the company that I represent. So I represent Lalamove, and we currently do on-demand deliveries. We provide shared vehicles and professional drivers to businesses, and we do this in a scalable, cost-effective, and reliable way. And I think these are definitely the core issues that a lot of customers definitely need help with, especially when it comes to intra-city deliveries. So, case in point, there's only one reason why we exist, and what we want to do is really to make everything fast and easy for people who are not very familiar with the logistics industry. As a small, medium business, you're venturing your first time into your own venture, and sometimes the choice of all of these logistics companies can be intimidating. So we wanted to make everything as convenient and as accessible by democratizing the logistics industry by providing it in an app. And by doing this, and also with the help of the internet, it's all become very seamless. Information gets delivered in seconds, but delivering parcels itself is actually still challenging. Delivering parcels still takes roughly a couple of hours to a few days, and we at least want to be the pioneers of the ones to change this mindset. And yeah, so making deliveries really easy is gonna be difficult, but our first step into it is putting it in your phones. Everyone's already familiar with how to use an app. Today, I think 90% of our customers actually use their delivery services via the mobile versus using our desktop site. And that's a testament to the kind of customers that we get today. And well, just a brief how far our reach is. So Lalamove's currently in 7 countries and in over 100 cities, more than 100 in China. And we plan to grow a lot faster, and I think our growth is a testament to how the industry is going as well. So last mile deliveries for businesses, they usually account for 28% of total delivery costs. And it's usually one of the most expensive things that a company needs to spend on. At least if you're in retail, or if you're a supplier, or if you're an e-commerce business, logistics is usually one of the main costs that drive your expenses up. And last mile is one of the most difficult ones, because you need to figure out how to deal with addresses not showing up in Google Maps, addresses that are not addressed properly, or the customer didn't put the right landmark. It's really messy, especially in the country like Philippines, where everything that can go wrong probably will go wrong, and it's as messy as possible. And that's really what's exciting about it as well, because there's so much opportunity here. And what makes this cost really interesting is because eventually we want this to go down as everything becomes more efficient. And in the onset, in the rise of this thing called e-commerce in the past decade, everything has just changed. The entire landscape, the entire business landscape has totally changed. E-commerce is no longer something that's new. It's actually no longer just something that is specialized anymore. It's already become a necessity. And with this as well, all businesses and all consumers, their preferences and their expectations have totally changed. Expectations from like a decade ago when you ordered something online or through the phone and you expect to receive it in like a week. Today, that's no longer acceptable. Today, everything needs to happen really quickly. Everything needs to be very convenient, really fast, and it needs to still happen at a good price. So doing business in this day and age is already very, very difficult. And it's also really exciting because with all of these new expectations comes with it, of course, the enablers like Lalamove, like all of these platform businesses, and also the old industry that's adapting to these needs. So it's definitely a win for the consumers. And yeah, so mobile internet has changed so many things. The smartphone has allowed us to access pretty much anything in the palm of our hands. Like decades ago, we would not even have thought possible to call somebody across the world like very quickly. Or if you do, it needs to happen in front of your desk. You need to pick up like a phone, dial like a long distance line over your landline. But today, you can just pick up your phone and dial Skype or dial WhatsApp and you're already in contact with someone. And with the platform-based businesses, with sharing economy models and on-demand models, we're changing that yet again. We're adding another layer to that, and mobile internet will change the way that mobile assets are utilized. So a lot of the unused, inefficient like models today, like trucks that you're not using, the motorcycles that have dead times. Lalamove allows the riders, these potential like entrepreneurs, to use their vehicles, to maximize their vehicles and maximize their investment. And that's really powerful. And so just one way, I guess, so that everyone is familiar on how the on-demand economy has pretty much changed, and its like differentiator is that we work off of a capital light model. If everyone in here is familiar with Grab and Uber, it's pretty similar, wherein we do not own any of our vehicles. We use the sharing model, the platform model. Everyone just signs up to our website and like registers their vehicles there, and we allow them access to the customers that actually want this. In contrast to traditional economies where it's a capital heavy model, all of this investment in vehicles, in warehouses, has its advantages, definitely. But the one thing that I think it cannot provide is the speed. Because with the platform-based model like Lalamove's, we are able to focus solely on just the platform, focus on the software, and maximize the efficiencies. And we don't have to manage like thousands of employees, and that, I think, that kind of laser focus is what makes this quite powerful. And customers definitely will be able to have the choice, because if you would want to if you want to get things really fast, then you can use the platform model, the Lalamoves of the world, or you could still use the old traditional ways if you say you want something as cheap as possible, or let's say you want something cross-border. So there's more choice for consumers today. So the sharing economy today is still in its infancy, of course, but based on some research and some projections, it's estimated to be worth around $335 billion by 2025. So this is really exciting. I mean, I think right now we're seeing that this is already something that's changing the world. And we definitely want to be a part of that here in Lalamove. And why this is the case is because what we've seen so far is a shift in customer preferences across the world. Like today, there are more people that are actually willing to pay for same-day delivery. As compared to before, it's usually just a price-based game. And that's really powerful. And I think it also tells us a good story of how the entire landscape of business, of consumers is changing. The consumers are getting smarter. They're getting more demanding. They're also getting a lot more savvy, where like today, if you told them I can get it delivered in 3 days, they'll you'll probably hear some people complain about it, whereas like ages ago that would have been the norm. That would have been fine. And like it's our job as people in the logistics industry, people in the on-demand space, to address those needs. So why does this work anyway? Why do why do these consumers go back to like trying these new models? So some studies, some numbers at least. This is pretty much the boring part of my presentation. But so comparing like on-demand models to traditional ones, the most common comparison is, of course, with hiring your own. If you hire your own vehicle, usually you will get those dead times. So if you outsource that to like an on-demand model, you only pay for the trip. And that means that you definitely will be able to plan out your efficiencies and get a better price. And that also leads to you having more capital as well to deploy to whatever else you need. And that also means that you get more choice because you're not tied down. So because of all of this, like more choices, better pricing, everything's just more convenient for customers. And this has allowed a lot more entrepreneurs to start out. You've seen the Facebook stores, the Instagram stores. We want to be able to enable these guys to like let them have a taste of how it's like to be in business and not have to stress too much about the logistics, the nitty-gritty part. It's just as simple as picking up your phone, dialing, putting in the addresses, and calling a Lalamove. And all of this changes has actually done quite a lot of good. So I've mentioned a lot about how it helps the consumers. I'll also talk a little bit about how it's helped the driver side of the equation, because as a platform, there's always two sides of the platform. And by allowing these consumers, these customers to save but pay a higher price, it's counterintuitive, but if you think about it, it makes sense. So they pay a slightly higher price and they get to save on their non-utilized time, and the driver, since they're able to compile all of these higher priced orders, they get to earn more. And by like drivers, when they earn more and they're no longer like tied down to just a minimum wage, they suddenly get empowered and they become excited to go to work because this is actually something that can lift them up from poverty. And by doing this, we empower these drivers and they become very excited to do their deliveries. It really shows. The customer service is through the charts. And by doing all of this, I think this synergies between the drivers, the platform, and the consumers, it's something that I think is unprecedented. So our numbers definitely will speak for themselves. Like we've only been in business in the world for like 3 years, since 2013, 4 now, going on 4 years. And we've just had exponential growth. And this is something that we've been like trying to catch up with ever since. It's been expounding, like every single year. We always beat our projections, and I think that shows that the market really is a massively growing one. And our numbers really just speak for themselves. We've done like 30 million deliveries, 30 million miles covered, and we've driven just this year 43 million hours driven. And that's quite strong, especially since if you think about it, we're quite young in this industry. So yeah, we definitely don't want to like say that we want to address everyone. We're quite laser focused in the sense that we know that we're focused on intracity deliveries, but because of our laser focus, we open possibilities for a lot of people, at least in our segment. We enable these guys to, these new businesses to like venture on their own, to get a reliable partner. And yeah, that's pretty much what we want to do. We just really want to make things fast and simple. And yeah, I just want to close with that. I thank you for your time.